guys, this is Tina from ShabbyDabbyDooDah. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm super excited. I have been lucky enough to be invited to join the collaboration that Rachel and Bella crafts have been putting together. And it is, I think it's running the whole of February. There's an amazing bunch of, you know, lovely talented ladies who are all participating. And again, just like the last collaboration, I just think thank you so much, because, you know, I can't begin to imagine how much work has gone into obviously liaising with everybody and putting this together. So thank you so much to Rachel and Bella Crafts. I really do appreciate being invited to join in. And the title of the collaboration is Junk Journal Tips and Tricks, and there's a hashtag which will be in the title. All of the videos who are participating in the collaboration, they'll all be listed below in my, you know, video description. So, you know, do go off and check out everybody's you know, everybody's video. And yeah, so my junk journal tips and tricks are going to be basically how to you know, make ahead to save time when it comes to making a journal. Now this is a lesson that sadly I was not too quick on the uptake of. When I first started my junk journal journey, so it was you know, 4.5 years ago nearly, that I started making junk journals. And yeah, I would make everything from scratch, you know, for every single journal. And obviously the process of putting a journal together would take forever. Now obviously it's still a lengthy process no matter how many things you've got ready made, because of course, you know, there's a lot of work goes into making one. But the biggest tip that I would have is to have as many components kind of ready assembled, ready put together, you know, just ready prepared as you possibly can. So I'm going to show you a few of the things that obviously I have kind of ready prepared, you know, just to assist really. So first thing obviously is, you know, bulk coffee dye or food colour dye, or, you know, bulk prep some papers. Now I have to say I am running low on my coffee dyed supplies. This is because I tend to do it in the summer, when of course I can do it out in the garden. So, you know, I bulk coffee dye and I bulk, you know, food colour dye all of my papers and things out in the garden, and then I've got them prepped and ready, hopefully enough to actually carry me through until the weather's going to be good enough to, you know, to go back out there and do some more. I do some doilies. I try and do some you know, patterned papers. You know, some bits like, say here I've got number tabs and things, and of course a real lot of plain papers as well. You know, I maybe coffee dye some fabrics, so this is some fabric that I've coffee dyed, you know, all just messy kind of stuff that actually I would prefer to be doing in the garden. So I've also coffee dyed like a bunch of envelopes there. They're, you know, fantastic for them making folios or just as covers for journals. You know, it's all there ready to grab in my stash. And then here obviously are some other, you know, overspills of some coffee dyed items and things. So that would be kind of the first, you know, first make ahead tip is, you know, coffee dye and, you know, batch dye, you know, a whole bunch of things. And then that's, you know, it may take you the whole morning or, you know, actually sometimes the whole day to do a whole bulk load of coffee dyeing and things, and maybe iron in your papers, but you're going to feel so great at the end of that day, and you're going to have such a bunch of things ready to use. The next thing that I, you know, have done, and again we did this in a mass make, and I mean lots of these things that I'm going to talk about are going to overlap with the mass making sessions, because I started those originally, you know, in order for that, you know, that exact reason, to speed up the process of making a junk journal. You know, like I say, was not very good at making ahead. I was not very good at repeat making, you know, the same item. And so every time I came to make a journal, I would have to start from scratch. So yeah, I think the mass making has helped me so much, you know, because it's got me into a mindset of making more than one thing, which is fantastic, which I did not have that mindset before. And of course, it's given me a ton of stuff that is ready made. So we have mass made in one of our mass making workshops. We have mass made the fabric covers. So these are a couple that I've got left. I think I've got some tucked behind here, or perhaps I haven't. Perhaps I've actually used them all. Okay, so it looks like I've used them all. So it's actually time to yeah, mass make some more fabric covers. And then what else I have done is I like to every now and then spend, you know, a little while maybe watching TV or whatever, I will just take some papers and fold them up in the configuration that I like to use for a journal, and then just slot them into a cover. And then again, when I then have time, I will then bulk stitch my journals together. So when I then come to make a journal, I mean, as you can see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and these are just empty covers with no pages yet. And these two, so 6, 7. I've got 7 journals there, which are already with the pages bound in. They've got the fabric covers, you know, just ready for decorating. And then I can grab those as I come to make a journal, and you know, that's going to straight away speed up my process, because I've got no gathering the pages, I've got no stitching in the signature, and of course I've got no you know, covering off the outer cover. So obviously there's a lot of work still to do. You know, this is far from, you know, far from a finished journal, of course, but it's a really, really good start. So, you know, to kind of help me on the process. So I'm going to now kind of work my way across, and, you know, we'll go through some other things that are really great to have mass produced. So in here, I've got all of my mass made items. So these are items that I specifically have made in our mass making sessions. And I know that we did this in the Tidy Friday, you know, series, and that's when we kind of started, you know, organising this out and things. So again, as you can see, I mean, this whole tray is pretty much full of, you know, mass made different items. And, you know, obviously I've got them sectioned off by dividers, which again, I've just kind of made those myself in types. So, you know, embellishment types. So here, for instance, I've got, oops, oh, very hard to do it one-handed. I don't know how people do things like this one-handed. I've got the long flat envelopes. So obviously all in this section are a whole bunch of long flat envelopes. I mean, obviously, you know, it's not always going to be that you've got things that are going to match your project. Now, when I mass make, I do not decorate. I make the, you know, the base piece. So on the whole, I don't decorate. I mean, on the, you know, in the mass making sessions, we tend to decorate one, and that's just really for, you know, demonstration kind of purposes. So I tend to just leave them blank like this. And then when I come to do a journal, I can gather all of my supplies in similar colours or similar themes, or, you know, however I'm styling my journal, I can pull those bits in. So that's, you know, how I kind of like to do it, is I will just go through here. So I've gathered my cover, you know, gathered my bound cover, my bound journal, and then I'll go through here and I will gather some things that seem to be in similar, you know, similar colours or similar themes, or, you know, however I'm going to be styling my journal. And then I'll pull them out, and straight away I've got, you know, a lot of things to put into a journal. So that's kind of the next thing that I would really recommend, you know, filing away your mass makes, having them on hand kind of ready, maybe dividing them up by kind of, you know, ephemera type or embellishment type, and then, you know, being able to just pull them in. So that's the next kind of item, really. So I'm over here now at my drawers, and again, you know, these are all things that I showed in my Tidy Friday. So here, for instance, in this little drawer, I've got all of, oops, now getting a bit messy. I was really good at keeping things tidy for quite a long time after the Tidy Fridays, but yeah, things are beginning to deteriorate here. But I've got all of kind of ready-made items there. So I've got bows in that one. These are just flowers, you know, ready for using. I've got here some kind of decorative strips with paper and some lace and things, so they're ready to use. I've got here my chipboard tiles, which I've glossy accented, so they're all ready to use. And then, oops, in the bottom drawer, which is currently on my desk, I've got the fabric button embellishments. So, you know, again, loads of handy things that then, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily then pull these out one at a time, but I would maybe just take the whole drawer across to my desk when I was kind of making a journal, and then, you know, add these things on. In these jars here, I've got flowers, obviously, in this one. And then in these two, I've got fabric ruffles. So, oops, if I just show you here. So these are machine stitched fabric ruffles. And again, I kind of go through like a phase where I might spend an evening, you know, just tearing down strips of fabric. And then, you know, when I next have time, I will go to my sewing machine and just literally stitch a whole bunch of fabric ruffles. So I've got a variety of colours and, you know, patterns and things like that. So again, when I'm then doing a journal, that's a really brilliant thing to have, you know, at the ready. So I'm over here at my drawers now, and in here I keep other little things. So I've got my little faux postage stamps that we made in a video. So they're all kind of in there. I've got some bows. These are like an overflow of the bows that I tend to use, you know, regularly or the most. These are little bright coloured bows, which I would personally tend to use these if I were making, you know, a children's book junk journal or something like that. So I've kept these intentionally separate from my, you know, mass-produced larger bows in more vintage colours, if that makes sense. So again, you know, this is then a go-to thing for if I were making like a children's book journal. I've got those gorgeous decorative strips, which we made. I think this was from a, Rachel weekly challenge video. So yeah, I've got a whole bunch of those. Again, they're just all ready then to grab and pop into a journal. I've got here paper clips. Now all of these things in here are all decorated. So everything other than the mass made items, which I showed you just now in that section of my craft drawers, all of these other items, they are all decorated and ready to go. So I've got a ton of paper clips in here. So again, if I need a paper clip, I can then just kind of rummage through and find a paper clip that I can use. I've got fabric ones separated out over here, and I've got paper ones separated out over there. Then the next drawer with some ready-made things. And again, please do excuse, you know, how messy everything is. I'm coming to the stage where I'm going to have to resurrect the Tidy Fridays, I think, because, you know, everything's getting so messy. But yeah, that might have to come soon. So in this little organiser, I've got all of those little, you know, faux ceramic brooch embellishments that, again, we made these back at the beginning of the year. And yep, so these, I just pop them into here. Now, obviously, I'm not saying they're bulky, but they're not the tiniest of embellishments. So obviously these sections are, you know, these sections are smallish. So I'm not sure that this is quite the, you know, best way to actually store these pieces. But again, they are stored in there ready, so I could just grab them out. Here I've got a whole bunch of like the little dangles. And again, we did this in our video, in our video series of Using Up Stash. So again, they are ready to grab. I've got my cabochons here with, you know, the Victorian kind of pictures, which again, we did that in a video. And then here are all my blank cabochons that I haven't used yet. Oops, that's another one that's done. So, you know, again, these I could do with probably making some more. I felt like I've made loads, but yeah, I've obviously used them quite quickly because I really love them. So yeah, I've got some more all here ready to make. What else have I got? I mean, the rest are kind of odds and ends and supplies, really. So that's that drawer. Now the next drawer with bits in, okay, is this drawer here. So again, what I've got, excuse me, here are more ready-made kind of things. So I've got lots of my little toppers with my ladies there. And, you know, I have to be truthful and say that this has really gone a little bit haywire, you know, since my Tidy Fridays finished. And yeah, I've ended up with, you know, things that shouldn't really be in here. But I've tried to keep, on the whole, you know, like with like, if you see what I mean. So that then I can just grab things as I need them. I've got flowers here, which I've kind of made and layered up and things. And then I've got lots of other flowers here, which again, I've made and layered. So, you know, if I wanted a flower or anything, I can just, you know, just grab them in. Then in my drawer with my ribbons, I've got here a whole bunch of decorative edge strips, which again, I could just pull in and use. In this drawer here, and I do apologise for the shoddy filming, it's hard to kind of show you all these things and keep the camera still. I've got loads and loads of those fantastic ribbon embellishments, which again, I mean, I did a tutorial on these, and you know, I love using those. So for me, there's something, you know, if I can have tons and tons of those, that's going to be really, really helpful, because there's something that, you know, I really do love to use. Then here I've got those gorgeous jabbos, which, you know, they look like those things that people had on their collars kind of during, like, you know, Victorian times and things. And again, they are ready assembled and ready to use. So when I came to do a junk journal, I could just grab these out and obviously use them. Then here, kind of at the back, I've got these heart embellishments. These are just heart sort of clusters like that. And again, we made these on a video. I've kept them all together like that. Then I've got my little lace fan. Oops. Sorry, that's another hot one. My lace fan embellishments, which again, you know, I've got the tutorial in my videos, and yeah, so again, got a few of those, and I'm keeping them, you know, separate all together like that. So trying to keep just like with like, and then, you know, as you make a journal, you think, oh, you know, that page just needs a little something extra. You could just pull in and grab things from there. Now, this is where it gets really messy. So please, yeah, please, I'm just excusing myself. And now my floor, I'm not going to film because, my goodness, it's got really, really messy again. So like I say, I may have to resurrect the Tidy Fridays. So here are some, you know, ready decorated embellishment pieces, which again, so alongside the mass made items which are not decorated, I can pull in anything, combination of any of these things, and then put them into one of my ready-made journals. So you've got your ready-made journal, you've got your mass made items which are not decorated, you've then got your items which are decorated. So let's kind of have a look. I'm just going to literally pull in a few things and demonstrate to you just how quickly we could kind of bring something together. Okay, so I've grabbed in a few things that I thought we could just quickly come along and make. Now, I've also got boxes with clusters in and things like that there on my craft cart, which is beside my desk. Of course, I have other mass-made, you know, or, yeah, bulk-made items as well. But I just thought I would show you kind of a few little bits and pieces and, you know, hopefully kind of give you some ideas and things like that. So I'm going to take this one. So we've got this, which is just a little pocket, and let's have a look what we want to put on here. So maybe we will keep this one nice and neutral, and let's just see. I mean, we could kind of like have a little sort of purpley coloured flower on there. So although it's neutral, it's just got a touch of colour. And then let's just see if we want some lace, because, you know, everything always looks better with lace, doesn't it? So, I mean, how pretty does that look? And, you know, that has taken me seconds because, of course, all of the individual elements, they're already made. You know, we've had to do literally nothing to pull this together. So I'm just going to glue this lace down on the edge here, like that. Oops. Oh, sorry, I'm now having glue problems now. It's the first time I have used my glue today, so it's obviously not wanting to cooperate today. So yeah, I really need to transfer my glue into those Sugar Bell bottles again. So okay, right. So just put that lace trim down on the side like that. Okay. And then this one here we'll have on there, and then the flower just sort of just above. I mean, doesn't that just look so gorgeous? And, you know, like I say, I mean, simplicity itself, it really couldn't be, you know, any kind of simpler. Sorry, I'm now hunting around for my scissors. I'm clearly like, oh, letting the side down a bit here today, so I do apologise. So for this one, I'm just going to hot glue this on. Obviously, you know, it's backed onto fabric, so you know, just for speed, and you know, I then know it's glued down properly, I'm just going to, yeah, go with the hot glue. So just press that one down, and then here again can just pop my flower on. I mean, how absolutely gorgeous does that look? Love it, love it, love it. So yep, I still haven't spotted my scissors, so I'm going to just take my pinking shears, which of course are not ideal, but they'll do. So I've just cut that lace off at the bottom, and then, you know, all you'd need to do is possibly ink that off to finish it. I mean, to be honest, you know, you wouldn't even necessarily have to ink it, but you know, you may want to. So I'll just ink around there like that. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was very late to catch on to the whole have a bunch of things ready made. And, you know, don't get me wrong, if I'm making a journal which is all from one kit or something like that, like when I did my Halloween journal or my Christmas pieces, of course I'm making as I go because I want everything from the same kit. But if you're making a more, you know, generalised kind of journal, not necessarily trying to keep all to one kit or something, then, you know, have a bunch of things ready made, because it's just going to literally make your life so much easier and speed up your process, you know, so much. So that one there, I mean, that took about 3 minutes to put that together. And doesn't that just look gorgeous? So I'm just going to put that to one side. Let's do another piece. So I've got this, which is a floating pocket. And yeah, let's see what we could do with this one. So I've got these decorative edge strips, which I just thought might look good on here. So like that on there. I love these decorative edge strips, but I have to be truthful and say I have been hoarding them, and yeah, I haven't really used them. So it's, yeah, going to be good to actually get on and use a couple. So, or one. I probably won't still bring myself to be able to use a couple, because of course that would no longer be hoarding them, which, why would I want to do that? But yeah, just use one or two. And, you know, I mean, if you haven't, you know, seen my math making workshops, I mean, I'm not just trying to shamelessly plug my videos or anything like that, but, you know, you honestly may find them really useful because, you know, like I say, I mean, it took me a long time to grasp the whole, you know, make ahead concept. And to be honest, I wish so much that I had been doing it sooner, because it really has made such a big difference to, you know, building up my stash, and as well, you know, actually when it then comes to making pieces, I can't tell you how awesome it is to actually have, you know, things ready to go. It's yeah, it's kind of like a bit of a game changer, really. You know, it just feels not like a relief exactly, but I mean, it feels good to, you know, even if you didn't use everything mass made, if you see what I mean, or everything from your made ahead items, just to have even half your journal that you can fill with mass produced or made ahead things is really going to be, you know, yeah, a massive well, relief to some extent, and just, you know, a massive time saver. So, you know, I definitely would really recommend it. So I'm just deciding whether to have this on this side or this side. I think I want to have it on the other side. I can't decide where to have that lace, so let's just have that lace trim at the bottom. So obviously, again, you know, the floating pocket itself, you know, that construction had already been made, so, you know, oops, that's just a, you know, ready-made piece there, like that. Okay, the edge strip, obviously another just ready-made piece. I'm going to kind of have it over to the edge so that the little file folder tab is actually, you know, hanging over. I might just glue it top and bottom so it's like a belly band, like that, and like that. Honestly, I mean, there's been some really awesome tips coming out in this series and this collaboration. So yeah, I mean, as usual, I was a bit behind filming, and yeah, I thought, oh, well, I'm not sure what I've got to bring to the party really, but anyway, I hope that this is going to be helpful, because, you know, definitely for me, this would be the biggest tip that I would possibly have, is just, you know, bulk make a bunch of things to have at the ready. So I'm just going to put that ribbon embellishment over there. Yeah, I mean, obviously I've got snippet rolls that are, you know, ready-made. I mean, of course, for me it helps because, you know, I'm making these things on video all the time. So, you know, I'm making things at a fast rate because obviously people really prefer to watch making ephemera videos rather than making a whole journal video. You know, so from that point of view, you just naturally do accumulate a lot of ephemera. I'm just wondering whether I could even have a cluster on here as well. I don't know whether I'm getting a bit cluttery, but I mean, she doesn't look too bad on there, does she? Oh, do you know, let's go for that. Yeah, so I mean, of course, you know, I'm making ephemera all the time. But that said, you know, definitely if you're using the concept of kind of bulk make, there's no reason why you couldn't do a lot of things in front of the TV. You know, in the evening and things like that. Yeah, I mean, making clusters, for example, just, you know, take a bit of glue or your stapler or, you know, whatever your preferred method of making them is. And take, you know, a little bunch of items, some lace, maybe a little, I don't know, flower trims or butterflies or something like that to put on your clusters as your, you know, oh, sorry, I don't know what's going on with my glue. As your kind of decorative type elements. And then, of course, a couple of scraps of paper. And that's all you're going to need to then, you know, bulk make some clusters. And they're going to be silent. No one's going to be, you know, irritated listening to you rustling things around or anything. So, you know, things like that, you can just kind of sit and make in the evening. And you might manage to make, you know, 10, you might manage to make 20, you know, however many you make. That's going to be something else to have in your stash ready to go. So that, for instance, there, how gorgeous does that look? And again, that just took, you know, a couple of minutes literally to put this together because, of course, you know, the pocket itself was ready-made, the cluster was ready-made, the strip was ready-made, and the ribbon, you know, this piece was ready-made. Now, this floating pocket, I will probably leave this side because I know I've talked about this before. I have this weird thing about not decorating the backs, really. And, of course, you know, I mean, if I had a bunch of bulky things like this on the back, then it's not going to lay flat on a page. So I will kind of leave that. But again, then what I could do is make just a journal card to go with this, for instance. So if I just see what I've got laying around on the desk. Why have we never got things as we need them? That's just not right at all, was it? So yeah, not that. Oh, it's so annoying because honestly my desk's full of stuff and, you know, I'm pretty confident I have got things here. But yeah, just not obviously the right things. Okay, so I mean here I've got this, you know, just printed paper. So I mean, I could even just tear this down. And then what we could do is make like a little journal card. Oh, I forgot that I've not seeming to have my scissors here, which is pretty irritating. Oh, this is the second time that I've not had my scissors recently. Well, it's going to be the second video where I've not had them, but actually those videos have been filmed like miles apart. So it looks like I've never got my scissors, but actually they have been filmed, you know, months apart. So in truth, I have got my scissors normally, but it just happens that you've now seen two videos very close together where I haven't. Right, I'm just going to switch the video off to look for my scissors. Hold on. Right, I knew that they were somewhere nearby, but yeah, they've kind of dropped down. So I'm just going to cut this down so that it fits better into the, you know, this here. So I might have to put it that way round, but obviously I don't want it kind of overhanging. So just cut that down slightly more. And now, of course, I'll just cut it down on this edge as well. Otherwise it was looking a little bit square. So like that. And then again, you know, we could just use another cluster or something. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that because, to be fair, it didn't really look quite right. But let's just have a look on here. I think most of these are going to be a bit on the big side, but what about that one? No. I guess I could tear this down. I mean, and that's another thing, is, you know, don't be afraid to then alter your pieces. You know, if they're not quite right, but you think, oh, well, they could be, then, you know, just cut them down and, you know, just alter them so that they are right. You know, don't be afraid to kind of, yeah, change things around if they're not quite working as they are. So again, just ink this one up. Right, glue all these bits down because this one has just been held by just a staple. So again, just like that. Okay. And then I'm just going to glue the whole thing onto that back piece, like the journaling card base. Like that. Okay, I'll just round my corners to make that look kind of a bit more journal cardy. I mean, not that I mind a journal card with straight edges, don't get me wrong. That's, you know, that works fine too, but like that. And then, of course, I can just pop that into there. Oops. Oh, come on. Like that. So again, you know, we've made a little journal card, you know, just from a piece of paper laying around on the desk and a cluster that was already made. Again, just going to glue this down because it was just a staple holding all those bits together. But, you know, how quick and easy was that? So, yeah, let's put that to one side and let's do another one. So I've got here this, you know, foldy out kind of pocket book. So again, I'm going to just ink this all up. And this was another one that we've made in the mass making. Yeah, I mean, I guess really for me, it was just, you know, when I first started making journals, I think what would happen, it would take me such a long time to make any one item that there was no way that I was then going to sit and make more than that one of it, because it was like, oh my goodness, that's just taken me like 20 minutes or, you know, however long to make that, or it was perhaps really fiddly. You know, I didn't want to then go on and make more. Actually, you know, probably the best thing to do is, especially when things are quite fiddly, but you may want to use them more than that one time, is actually do kind of make loads, because then they are made and you've got them. And of course, if you're then making something that takes like half an hour or 40 minutes per item, and, you know, in a journal, a typical journal, I think I normally have about 19 pages with like pockets or, you know, tucks and things like that stuck on them. That's 19 pieces of ephemera that you are going to have to make. So even if we said half an hour per piece, that's 8 hours to just make your ephemera. Then you've got your cover, then you've got your bind in the journal, and then you've got all of your journal inserts and things that tuck into the pockets. So straight away, it becomes such a really mammoth task to actually fill your journal that, you know, very quickly it can become almost like off-putting to actually make one, because it's like, oh gosh, you know, that's you know, that's going to just take forever, or, you know, yeah, I just think it can become very daunting, and, you know, daunting can often mean, you know, off-putting, and then just, you know, of course, off-putting then might just lead to you not actually doing any at all. Which, I mean, how much of a shame would that be? Whereas if you can have a few things ready and, you know, to hand, ready to use, like I say, even if that filled only half that journal, that's a significant time saver, isn't it? And, you know, it's not just the time saver, but like I say, it's almost like the relief as well to think, oh, I've already got that ready made. You know, that's something else I don't have to make. Which, you know, especially when you're selling them, and so you're needing to make them quite quickly and things, you know, that's all going to really help you, because, you know, you haven't necessarily got time to be spending, you know, a week per journal, a week making a journal, because, you know, you might have kind of a waiting list of people and things like that. So, you know, if you can just manage to cut down on how long things take to make, I personally just think that's a really, really, you know, massive help. And for me, I would say that's probably the biggest lesson I've learnt through the whole thing is, you know, don't only make one of something. Try and make, you know, several. You know, actually, the more the merrier kind of thing. You know, the more that you can make, the better. But I realise that's not always going to be possible. But yeah, I mean, if you can make more, then that's fantastic. And it's just going to really help you further down the line. So, for instance, here we've got the ready-made pocket. We've got the ready-made cluster. We've got the ready-made, you know, ribbon piece here that we're just going to then pop on like that. Okay. And then, of course, you know, if you've got like a bunch of things ready fussy cut as well, you could probably then just embellish further with some fussy cut pieces. So I'm just having a look to see if I've got anything, you know, that's going to kind of blend in. So this might blend in if I ink it. It might not. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that looks lovely, doesn't it? And I mean, actually, as soon as I get time, I've got a plan for a series, actually, which is going to be, you know, along these lines and hopefully, you know, really, really helpful. So, yeah, I just need to film it, really. So, yeah, it probably won't be for several weeks. But, yeah, keep your eyes peeled because it's definitely, you know, I'm just forming the ideas, really, at the moment. But yeah, definitely, I think it will be something really helpful. So, and again, I've just got another label here. Just ink that up. Yeah, I think that might look pretty there. So again, I'm going to hot glue this down because this is going to go like on top of that lace. Oops. So I just want to ensure it's, you know, attached properly. Like that. So, I mean, how gorgeous does that look? And then, of course, on the inside, you know, I personally probably wouldn't put too much on the inside. I would maybe put just one or two little pieces. So I've got like this. Yeah, I would maybe kind of just have maybe, you know, something like this. And, oh, I don't know, maybe a bit of lace hanging beneath there or something. I mean, that looks really pretty, I think. And obviously, because, you know, it's quite bulky already, just from the, you know, the front and from the nature of the type of pocket that this is, you know, so you don't want to bulk it out even more by having like tons of things on the inside. Just like one or two, I think would be, you know, ample. So, that's a bit sort of strange, isn't it? Unless we could cut this down like that and have it so as it looks like it's the complete bow, but in fact it's like, you know, one half of the pocket and one half not. So yeah, I quite like how that looks. So again, just quickly ink this up like that. Okay. And here, oops. Oh, my glue, it's driving me nuts. I'm so sorry. I'm sure it's driving all of you crazy as well. Yeah, very, very, very inconvenient. So, yeah, my desk and my floor and everything else, oh, it's just become a nightmare again. So, yeah, I'm going to have to give it some thought. You know, possibly resurrect the Tidy Fridays for the next few weeks. Again, you know, I had intended on doing like maintenance episodes. Never really did. Obviously, in hindsight, yes, I really should have done them because then maybe my floor wouldn't have got as messy as it's now got again. But, you know, it was like a case of those good intentions and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's now got very messy again. But, again, you know, that probably won't be for a while yet that, you know, that I'll get around to doing that. But, yeah, so, I mean, again, how gorgeous does this look? It's just so pretty, isn't it? I really, really, really love it. And I mean, what's the time? Oh, I can't see now. Oh, I don't know, 10 minutes. So you know, we've done quite a bit of embellishing on here. You know, the front's quite fancy, you know, the insides, we've put quite a few bits on here. And that's taken us 10 minutes. So, you know, in the space of literally no time at all, we've made all of these gorgeous items, you know, which are now absolutely finished and ready to go into a journal. So, yeah. So I really hope that you've got some some useful tips really from this video. You know, yeah, I mean, my just, well, all-time lesson that I have learned through the junk journal thing is, yeah, make ahead. Don't make more than one, you know, one item. I mean, I never make two identical things, if that makes sense. Like, I would never make two identical journals. But if I was, say, making these pockets, you know, which we did make obviously in the mass make, but I would try and make several in one hit, so that then I had a bunch that I could pull in. If I were making a cluster, I would try and make several clusters, you know, not just one. If I were making these chipboard tiles, I would try and make a few. If I were making the ribbons, I would try and make a few. So, you know, every single thing, then you've got then, you know, a box of like the ribbons. You've got, you know, a box, oops, a box of the clusters. These, you know, okay, they're not in a box, kind of neatly stored, but, you know, I've got a bunch of these now ready to use. Actually, I could do with making some more. You know, these lovely toppers that we made. Again, I've got several here that I can pull in and use. So, you know, it just all really helps. And I just think while you've got supplies out, you know, to make like this one, why not make you know, not tons, but why not make a few? Because it's all the same supplies. So all of those things, I just think personally really cut down, you know, on the time it takes. And yeah, I mean, I just really hope that that kind of resonates maybe, and, you know, yeah, just that that's helpful in some way. And yeah, hope that you feel inspired. Have fun if you're off now to bulk make a whole bunch of stuff. And obviously I've got my mass making workshops on the Tuesday for, you know, if you're a bit like me and you kind of need spurring on to bulk make. You know, we always have a lot of fun at those workshops. And again, do watch everybody else's amazing videos in this fantastic collaboration, because honestly, there's going to be some awesome tips. I've already seen some awesome tips, and yeah, going forward, there's obviously going to be loads more. So yeah, look forward to watching the rest of the videos myself. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thanks to Rachel and Bella Crafts for inviting me to join in, and have a great day, everyone. See you tomorrow. Thanks then. Bye.